Hello, beautiful people, and Aquaba. Welcome to Espresso Talk Today. This is the space where we have uncommon conversations about the chaos of living Black in predominantly white spaces, and we discuss how to curb, control, and calm that chaos. I'm your host, Amma Robin, and I'm having my turmeric coffee today for this informative and powerful show. Just so you know, I'm a Black empowerment educator and a resilience coach, so I am ready to dive deep into this. Today, we are going further into the theme of making a way out of no way. In our last episode, we celebrated Black resilience and highlighted the remarkable achievements of Black people who defied the odds to carve paths to success. But today, we're shifting our focus to examine the broader effects of this phenomenon and its impact on our health and well-being. Last week was all about Black resilience and resourcefulness and determination, and that was fantastic. We're going to go there a bit this week too. But before we dive in, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you're feeling this show, share it with your fam, your crew, your circle, everyone in your community. Now, grab that espresso or tea. Tea drinkers are welcome here too. And close the door behind you. We're going to get deep and we're going to get real. And I hope that y'all are ready for this. Aquaba, my dear brothers and sisters, and my beloved gender neutral and gender non-conforming folks, we're back and let's get started. There's a lot to cover, a lot of chaos to talk about. So let's begin. The last time I was here, I was talking about, making a way out of no way. And I talked about the foundation of making a way out of no way, how we as Black Americans have built so much and accomplished so much and done so much and changed the country, uplifted the country. And we did this, how? We did it with resilience, we did it with resourcefulness, and we did it with determination. And this is often kept from us. So once we really feel what we have done and what we've accomplished, we carry those words around like a badge of honor. And I can tell you, it is honorable, and there's no reason why we shouldn't. But I do have to say, as I was thinking about the making a way out of no way and all that we've accomplished, I also realized that there is more to the story. There always is. And speaking of stories, I got one for you. I've discussed this story before, maybe about a year ago, but I think about it a lot because, I used to think it was a legend, it wasn't true, but it absolutely is. And there's a lot to learn from it. It is the story of John Henry. Well, John Henry, and it's a true legend, because John Henry was bigger than life. I'll go to the story. John Henry was a former enslaved person, I believe in West Virginia. Anyway, he was a digger. He would actually, a miner. He would dig through mountains, and he had his two spikes and his two pickaxes, and he would push through. He would dig through mountains, he and the other people working around him. Well, as time went on, and innovations developed and industrialization happened, a new machine was developed, and that was the steam engine. So the owners of the mountain, of the mining agency, they were thinking it's actually better for us to use the steam engine than to use, humans to dig through mountains. But everyone said, well, look, John Henry, he's big, he is strong, he's stronger than any steam engine. Well, the owners of the company didn't believe that. So they did a test, more like a race. And so they got up one day and they said, okay, John, here, we need people, we need to dig through this mountain. And John Henry was going to race the machine, the steam engine. And so that morning they got up and, they fired the gun and the race began. Now, who was stronger? And there was John Henry with his 2 pickaxes. He was pushing. He was chopping through. He was pushing. He didn't stop for water. He didn't stop even to rest. And the steam engine was right beside him, going digging through. Well, then all of a sudden, everyone's at the other end of the mountain, other side of the mountain. And there's all this dust and there were rocks flying everywhere. And what happened? John Henry stepped out of that mountain. He had beat the steam engine. John Henry had beat the machine. And that's actually one of the ways he became a legend. And he raised his hands up in victory because he knew he was stronger and faster than any kind of machine. And then what happened? Well, John Henry dropped dead right there. He had pushed himself and his body so hard, even for that short time, that it had taken its toll and his body just couldn't take it anymore, and he collapsed and he died right there. Well, there's a lot to learn and a lot to unpack there in that story, because John Henry showed that he could work and put out an extra effort, an extraordinary effort, and he could beat any machine. And he beat the machinery. And that machinery I see as racism. And that's something, a machine that many of us face every single day. And what do? Well, we work twice as hard. We stay up twice as long. We work on weekends. We don't get any sleep. We skip meals. We push harder and harder so that we can also beat the machine. Now, what does this do? This also causes problems for us. And that's what John Henry, the lesson that we can get from John Henry. Now, fighting the machinery of racism and white supremacy is something that we just do all the time. We do it without thinking of it. We make that way where there is no way. And at the end, we also do have problems. And people say that, well, everybody has problems. Well, the machinery of white supremacy and racism are different than most people, most non-black people or non-people of color face, and they don't understand what it is like to face that machinery. And even to beat the machinery has a consequence. So here's my question to you. Is making a way out of no way damaging your health? Is fighting the machine hurting your health? I am so glad you asked that. And now's a good time to take our first break. Let's take our first breather break here to kind of give us some time to think about and digest this story of John Henry. This gives us a chance to breathe also. And when things get intense, I like to breathe. I hope you do too. And I'll see you in a minute. And I know y'all know that I love this song. So I'm going to listen to that, but I'm going to think about what does it take to beat the machine. I'll see you in a minute.
Anything is possible. Turn me up in the headphone. Yeah. Trying to get a lot of dough and dirt through all the obstacles, cause anything is possible. Yeah. Oh man, I got a lot of gold. Stack that bread and by my nose. Anything is possible. Yeah.
Asante Sana for staying with me. I hope you all did a little breathing and maybe a little thinking. I did a bit of both. Now, let's get back to it. John Henry beat the machine. John Henry made a way out of no way. But in the end, he died. And let's think about this. The constant stress and pressure have contributed in many ways to high levels of chronic illness, early mortality, and mental health struggles within our community. This phenomenon is known as John Henryism, and it reflects the physical and emotional toll of striving for success in a system that denies us opportunities, in a system that wasn't made for us, and in a system that is basically just a white supremacist system. So I remember I had several conversations, very interesting conversations, with Professor Sherman James, and he was an epidemiologist from Duke University, and he actually coined the term John Henryism because he saw that Black people were doing so much, working so hard to buy land, to get an education, to be upwardly mobile, they were working very, very hard at various different their occupations because they wanted to succeed. And he saw that they were also dying younger, and they were suffering from chronic illness. So he actually studied this, and he used the John Henry legend, John Henry story, as an example. So Sherman James defined John Henryism, and I'm going to not use my words because he's done this for years. We'll use his. In John Henryism, he defines it as a coping strategy where people put in extreme effort to overcome challenges and racism, often leading to significant physical and mental health issues due to the constant stress. Now, he says that there's this high effort coping that we use to navigate the system of white supremacy. Like I said, we work twice, 3 times, 4 times as hard. We work on weekends. We work late into the night. We struggle and toil and push through in order to beat the machine, in order to be successful in our quest for success. And it causes us health problems. Professor Smith identified, cardiovascular disease as being a major problem in the Black community. Hypertension, it's a leading cause of disability and premature death among Black Americans. Now, we're often blamed for other things, saying that, we don't exercise enough, we don't eat right. Okay, there's some of that too. But there's also the constant striving for success. John Henryism, this kind of stress, these stress-related illnesses can also cause anxiety and depression, even diabetes. All of these are very prevalent within the Black community, and particularly among African Americans who are at a professional level. Because there's so much that we have to take. There's so many obstacles we have to get around and maneuver, and so many microaggressions and anxieties and obstacles put in our way. And these cause stress-related health problems. So this making a way out of no way is fantastic. Of course, the resilience, the resourcefulness, the determination, those are all fantastic things. But let's remember, that's not the end of the story. There's also the stress, the health-related problems, the stress-related health problems that can come along with it if we don't do something about it, if we ignore it, if we just keep pushing through. And that's what Professor James worked so hard to show, that it isn't all about these other issues of health and nutrition. Of nutrition, which is important. He says that it's important, but there's also the beating the machine, the cost of beating the machine that we work so hard and invest so much in doing, that is wearing down our bodies, wearing down our minds, wearing down our families. So what are we going to do about this? And I am so glad you asked that, or at least you let me ask it, because that is our next stop. And that's going to be where we go after this next break. I hope that you see too that making a way out of no way is fantastic. It's important. It's something that we have done and we have to do. But we have more to do than that. Well, let's take one last breather break here, and then we're going to wind it down. But I've got some information here. We're going to focus on what kind of strategies and coping tools you can use that are healthy, that can help you to avoid, this early mortality and the chronic illnesses and the high stress levels. We're going to talk about that, and I'm pretty sure you're going to want to hear it because there are tools that you can use today. And I know that y'all are ready for this. Hey fam, it's Alma Robin here. I'm still here. I'm so glad you're still here. Let's get to it. So, making a way out of no way, that has gotten us so far. We have the resilience, the resourcefulness, the determination, and those have taken us so far. And I thank all of my ancestors and all the people who worked so hard for us to get this far. But then we discovered there was something more going on. And thanks to the incredible work and research by Sherman James, we discovered that the wear and tear, beating the machine, to try to be successful, our quest for success has also taken a toll on our health. It wears us down. It's wearing down our health. It's causing more stress. And it's like wear and tear on any machine. It's going to eventually break down. And it's been causing, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, heart disease, diabetes, anxiety, depression. These are rampant within the Black community. And a lot of it is because we are we are working against the machine to try to succeed. And we are meeting obstacles, and we keep pushing through them. And yeah, in many ways we do succeed, but we don't want our story to be like John Henry, who came through the mountain before the steam engine, but then dropped dead right there. He became a legend. We have other ways that we want to become a legend. So what are we going to do? What do we do about this? Should we just say, okay, you know what, we're not going to work hard. We're not going to struggle or strive, or we're not going to be resourceful or resilient? No, that is not the answer. That is absolutely not the answer. And I asked Dr. James about this, and he specifically said that is not the answer. The answer is that we have to take affirmative steps to protect our health. We have to adopt healthy coping strategies against the machinery, against the racism, against the chaos. And I have a few that I use and that make a big difference for me, but I'm going to mention the ones that Sherman James brought up, because he knows that these work and he's seen that they're effective. But I'm going to throw in mine first because I have this, and I know that you probably don't want to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. The first thing to do is to do our checkups and our check-ins. Now, what do I mean by that? Our checkups. Hey, we got to go to the doctor. We have to know our cholesterol numbers. We have to know our A1C. We have to know our weight. We have to know our blood pressure. We have to get the checkups done. We have to know where we're starting from and what's going on with us. And that's only one part of it. I know going to the doctor isn't fun, and sometimes hearing those numbers is not fun, but it is important. The next one, are the check-ins. Now, that's checking in with yourself, taking a moment to stop and think, what do I need today? How am I feeling? What's going on with me? Just take a moment to breathe, look within, feel, and know and try to figure out what it is you may need to get out of that day, to get from that day. Check in with yourself. And then you check in with others. You check in with your family, your friends, your co-workers. How are you today? Are you doing okay? Have you been getting enough sleep? Have you been taking a walk? Are you spending time in nature? Check in with yourself, check in with others. And that makes a huge, huge difference. Now, this isn't about judging anyone. This is about letting people know that you care, that someone out there cares. Okay, so the checkup and the check-in. Now we're going to get to what Dr. James said. Okay, connect with others, connect with your community, connect with your culture. He said studies show that when you are connected with your culture and your culture is an active part of your life, it reduces stress and it builds resilience and it builds empowerment and it builds self-esteem. Connect with your culture, your community, your family, your friends. Don't do this alone. Life is not meant to go through alone. You know, that's what I said. We're checking in on yourself, checking in on each other. You know, get your group together. I have my sisters gathering, and we ask each other, how's it going at work? Wow, okay. When you can talk to people who you don't have to explain things to, it makes a big difference. When you can say, man, you know, my coworker was looking over my shoulder and always watching my work and what I'm doing, and have people just nodding their heads and understanding, instead of people who are going to say, oh, I'm sure it was nothing. Oh, I'm sure you're overreacting. It is so important to have your own circle, people that you can trust and people that can trust you. You know, in this day and age, we are often very isolated from people, and white Western society really kind of pushes us doing things, being individuals, and, you know, doing everything on your own and not sharing your feelings and not sharing your experiences because they see that as weak. Well, they're wrong. So connect with others. Do not do this alone. So that's very, very, very important. The next one is something that's probably not going to be unusual, but it has to be repeated. Use stress management techniques, mindfulness. There are so many different ways that you can manage stress and control stress and live mindfully. You know, one of my favorites is journaling. I journal every single day, and it makes such a difference to me. If I'm really angry about something or really stressed about something, I can go to my journal and I can write in it and I can spend time with it. And it's I feel like I go deeper in an understanding and I release things onto the page, and it makes such a difference. Well, journaling is just one technique. There's meditation, there's deep breathing, there's exercise, there's walking in nature, there's spending time outside, there's dancing. You know, there's writing poetry, there's listening to music. I mean, the list is absolutely, and I mean this literally, endless. So find the thing that you connect with, and then do that, because it will relieve your stress and it will bring down those cortisol levels, and it will make a difference. It'll make a difference physically, it'll make a difference mentally. Look, we all want to be successful. We all are working hard to be successful, and that is so admirable. But we also ought to work hard in taking care of ourselves and taking care of each other. So I think those are really good techniques I just want to mention to you, because I wanted to let you know, to remind you that the resilience, resourcefulness, and determination are not the end of the story. Please don't, say, okay, I don't need to do anything else but that. No, you need to deep breathe. You need to spend time in nature. You need to take a walk. You need to spend time with your community and your sisters gathering or your spirit circle, whoever it is that helps to uplift you, a place where you belong. And that's also finding your soul space. You know, that soul space can be a city, a country, a bookstore. You know, it's that soul space where your soul just feels free and feels like it belongs, and just uplifts you and fills you up. All of these things make a huge, huge difference. So I think this is a good place to wind it down. I hope you found that helpful. There are many more techniques listed on the website, at espressotalktoday.com, in the section on Habari, and in the blog section too. Habari means knowledge in Swahili. And in the blog section, you'll find this information. Please use it. And please reach out too. No one does this alone. No one was meant to do this alone. So I want to wish you a big Asante Sana, and let's take time to wind this down. I hope you found this as helpful as I did. Making a way out of no way is truly a badge of honor. It truly shows that we are indeed an amazing people. When I think about what we have done and what we have brought to the United States and to this planet, I am filled up with so much pride. And it's not a arrogant pride. It's a wow, look what we can do. Look what we have done. And look at how everybody has been uplifted because of it. I really appreciate your being a part of the Espresso Talk Today show, and I look forward to continuing these important and uncommon conversations with you as we strive for good health and success and liberation for all oppressed people, not just for some, but for everyone. And I just gotta bring this up. I am not dissing anyone who is working hard to succeed and uplift themselves and their family and their community. I'm just saying that it's not the end of the story. It can't stop there. You are important. Take care of yourself as you struggle against the machinery of racism. Take care of your mental and physical health. Stay alive, stay healthy. You deserve the best. And what you do uplifts all of us. You're important, and we thank you for what you do and for who you are. And remember this: Black people are not the problem. We are not weak. We are not overly sensitive. The problem is, and always has been, white supremacy. The problem is the white supremacist patriarchal system that is attacking Black bodies, minds, and hearts. That is what's causing the problem. But we get distracted, or our attention gets diverted, and call it lots of other things like Black on Black crime, or weak Black men, or crazy Black women, or bad diets among Black people. But they won't call it what it is: white supremacist systems. But we are working hard. We Black people are working hard to make a way out of no way, to strive for success, to support our families, to contribute to our communities and to the country, to live the American dream. And since we are working hard against the machinery of racism and white supremacy, our extraordinary efforts are damaging our health and shortening our lives. But we are normal. White supremacy is not. Anti-Black racism is not. It's not you, it's them. It really is. And I hope you got this, because it really is true. So remember, my fellow warriors, know this deep in your soul: you are powerful beyond measure, and you are important. Together, we are invincible. And the problem, I'm going to say it again, the real scourge on society is white supremacy. We are not the problem. Asante Sana to all people who are working to empower and uplift Black people. Asante Sana to you for being in the building and showing the courage to talk about these issues. If you want to keep discussing or just reading about these issues, then you should definitely subscribe to my weekly Black empowerment newsletter, The No Mo Beat. We discuss lots of issues there. You can get your dose of Black empowerment every week. There's never a dull moment, but there are lots of powerful, uplifting, and liberating moments. You can subscribe at the Espresso Talk Today website, espressotalktoday.com, or on Instagram at my name, Ama Robin L. That's AMA_Robin, ROBIN_L. You can also find us on Facebook in our newly opened Espresso Talk Today Black Liberation Lounge. And this group is a safe space for us to hold discussions and share thoughts and ideas, feel joy, express sadness. or just breathe. Or you can join us on Instagram to discuss these issues. Again, on Instagram, I'm at Ama Robin L. I'm Ama Robin for Espresso Talk Today, and remember, now more than ever, strength, soul, and reparations. Ashe, community.